This week's Parsha Bechukotai starts with God's blessings if we follow His laws. Interestingly, these blessings all have to do with the material, rain, food, water, but the Torah then adds another phrase to God's blessing. Yishavtem levetach ba'artzachem. You will dwell in security in your land. What message is this phrase coming to convey? Is it its own blessing, or is it a result of God's blessing? The first thing to note is that the phrase, you will dwell in security in your land, comes immediately after God's blessings of rain and food. Through this sequence of verses, it is implied that the blessing of rain and food will allow you to live securely in the land. How can this be realized? Abarvanel explains that we will feel secure when we will be the masters of our own food supply and not need to rely upon trade or other nations to guarantee a bountiful market. In other words, we will be completely self-sufficient. And to human beings, a good part of feeling secure is to feel secure in one's own material well-being, something that becomes more pronounced as a person ages. Another way to look at the phrase, you will dwell in security in your land, is that it is an independent blessing in and of itself. Or HaChaim says that the word ba'artzachem, in your land, underscores that the whole world will recognize that the land of Israel rightfully belongs to us. Or HaChaim further says that the phrase also implies that it will be foreigners who will perform the heavy labor in the land. Israel will, quote, sit securely, not needing to worry that these foreign laborers may steal and cheat. In other words, we will be the recognized masters of the land and treated as so. The Sifra and other commentators interpret this phrase to mean that we will only have a special blessing of living securely when we live in our own land. If we would live outside of the land of Israel, we will not necessarily be secure, as we will be subject to the whims of the country we live in. Another way to look at the phrase, you will dwell in security in your land, is that it is a blessing and a promise for that which follows. Feeling secure is a fundamental need. Unfortunately, though, there will always be conflict, battles and wars between nations. Nevertheless, we will live in security, knowing that if we follow God's laws, we will be successful if there is a conflict. Or HaChaim puts these promises together and explains that this promise is most important because all the preceding promises are essentially meaningless unless one can live free from worry that an enemy will invade one's country. God promised continued prosperity uninterrupted by the need to defend one's country at the expense of growing crops. By linking our security in the land with following His laws, God established the principle that we say today, Am Yisrael be'eretz Yisrael al pi Torat Yisrael, the nation of Israel in the land of Israel according to the law of Israel. To paraphrase Kohelet, this threefold cord will not be quickly broken. Shabbat Shalom.